Hello, all of you. Today we'll be doing this poem of class 10th English, A Tiger in the Zoo, from the book First Flight. Okay, so this poem is written by Leslie Norris. Now, this poem is comparison of a tiger in a zoo and in its natural habitat. You all know that the natural habitat of a tiger is a forest, and here two places are compared. One place a tiger is kept in a zoo, caged, captured, and in the other place the tiger is lingering with complete freedom in a forest. Okay, so the first stanza is: he stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. You can easily make out that the first stanza speaks about the tiger in the zoo, in the cage. So he stalks. Stalks means walks. Okay. He stalks in his vivid stripes. Vivid stripes means very bright stripes. You all know, I'm sure you must have seen tiger. It has got black stripes, beautiful black, very bright stripes. So it's been told about that tiger. The few steps of his cage. Now see, the tiger is in a cage, and you can very well imagine if the tiger is walking in the cage, he will be having very few steps. Okay, few steps in the front, few steps in the back, few steps left, few steps right, because it's not an open space. A cage is a very limited kind of a space. It has got a very limited kind of a space. So the tiger is just moving few steps from here and there in its very bright stripes. It's a beautiful animal. It has got very bright stripes and it is moving it's taking very few steps in the cage. On pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. Quiet means hidden, rage means angry. Actually, this tiger is in a cage, and we all can imagine it, since it's not its natural habitat, definitely the tiger would not be happy. Any bird, any animal, if they're captured, if they're captivated, if they're kept without their consent, they would not be happy. A bird can never be happy in a cage. A animal can never happy in a zoo. So definitely it is showing the way he is taking the steps in the cage, he is very angry. Now here the third line is on pads of velvet quiet. If you see a tiger, I'm sure you must not have seen, but you all know the feet of a tiger are very velvety. They are very soft. You can compare it with, if you have a dog. If you see the feet of the dogs, the below part is very velvety. So in the same way, the tiger's feet, the below part of the feet is very velvety. So definitely, if it is walking, it would be quiet. So it is said that he is quietly moving with his velvety feet, taking very few steps, and it has got very bright stripes on his body, but he is in quiet rage. He is, that hidden angriness in his is in him. So the next stanza: he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Now this stanza is about the tiger in a natural habitat, in a forest. Okay, he should be lurking in shadow. Lurking means hiding. Now if a tiger is moving in a forest, so they hide themselves in shadows, under the trees, under the bushes, because they are actually looking for the hunt, they are looking for their food. So they generally move, and they are generally hiding themselves in some kind of shadows of bushes or trees or anything. Sliding through long grass. Sliding means moving very slowly through the long grass, but because the actual causes, they are hiding themselves because they have to hunt for some animal. Near the water hole. Now this tiger who is hiding in the shadow, who is walking through the long grass, he is actually going to the water hole. Water hole means maybe a small pond, or maybe a small source of water where plump deer pass. You all know, if there is a water resource or a water hole or a pond in a forest, so all the animals, they come there and drink water. So this tiger has gone there for his food, to hunt animals. Generally here in the stanza, it's shown that he has gone there to hunt the plump deer. Plump means fat deer. Now it is shown that in this stanza, the tiger is in its natural habitat and it's hunting for its food, whereas in the cage, the animals, all the animals, whether it's tiger or elephant or lion or anything, they are given food. But in the natural habitats, they hunt for their food themselves. Third stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. In this stanza also, the tiger in the natural habitat is being shown. Now what he is doing? He should be snarling around houses. Now, snarling means when the tiger is taking a little kind of voice from its throat. It doesn't mean roaring. It is just, taking a little kind of voice. What we can say in Hindi, gurrana. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. Now, since it might happen that he could not have found food in the jungle, so he has gone out of the jungle, and on the edge of the jungle there is a village, and he has gone there to find his hunt, to find anything to eat. He should be snarling around houses. He is moving there, he is making some little noise, and he is at the edge of the jungle, at the corner of the jungle. He is almost out of the jungle. Baring his white fangs. Baring means uncovering, showing. Baring means showing. He is showing his white fangs. Fangs means very sharp teeth. You all know that tiger has got very sharp teeth. So he is showing his white teeth. He is opening his mouth and showing his white teeth. His claws. Claws means nails. His nails. Terrorizing the village. Terrorizing means to fear somebody. He is fearing the village. He is scaring the village people because he wants to hunt something. He is in a natural self. He is searching for his own food. Now the fourth stanza. But he is locked in the concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. In this fourth stanza, you can very well guess that it is about the tiger in the cage. Here what is shown? But he is locked in a concrete cell. Concrete means cemented. Now here he is locked in a cemented cell. He is not in a natural habitat. He is in a cage, and this cage is made of concrete, and he is locked there. His strength behind bars. Though he has got lots of strength, he can go out, he can hunt, he can do anything. Tiger is a very ferocious animal, but here his all strength is locked behind the bars. He cannot show his strength. Stalking the length of his cage. Again, stalking means walking. He is again just walking in the cage and trying to measure the length and breadth, because he can't do anything. He is just walking in the cage, ignoring visitors, and he is just not interested who has come to the zoo, who's watching him, who is getting fascinated by him. He is just ignoring the visitors. He is not interested. He is not liking that place, and he has lots of power, but he is not able to enjoy that because he is captive. After all, he has lost his freedom. Last stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Now, in the last stanza again, the same tiger in the cage has been said about. He hears the last voice at the night. Now the complete day passes. He just strolling in the cage, from moving from this place to that place. He's not able to show his strength. Nothing he can do. And in the night, when the night falls, at the last moment of the night, he's just hearing the voices of the visitors, the voices of the guards, the voices of the cars, and everything. The patrolling cars means the vehicles which generally patrol means they are like guards who see in the zoo that everything is going right, all the animals are correct, all the visitors have gone out. So that are called patrolling cars. In the end of the night, at the end of the day, he is just listening to the voices of the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes. Stares means looking continuously. And since he's in the cage, he can't do anything. He's just looking with his brilliant, very bright eyes at the brilliant stars, at the same brilliant stars. In the sky, the stars are very bright and sharp and beautiful. In the same way, even his eyes are very brilliant and sharp, but he cannot do anything. He can just look at them continuously, sitting in his own cage and being very, very helpless. So, this was the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. Thank you.